Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm actually going to be doing another 3D print hack, trying to work out if I can do something actually which I'm quite excited to try out. It's like an idea that I had basically to get my MP9, which I haven't really played with yet, but I'm quite excited to. And I was kind of training the other day with my smart targets using my MPXK. And what I really want is something for my small SMGs. And I've had a version of this before that didn't work that well, but I want something where instead of having to use a sling when I'm kind of switching over from primary to secondary, I want to be able to just basically QD mount this. And I'm hoping that I can do it on my chest. I recently was given, and I've done a review if you want to have a look at it, this Phantom Gear Polarity, which is kind of like a magnet style plate carrier. And actually, sorry, George, I'm gonna take off my George patch, but it's got a Molle section here. And so my idea was basically to be able to just mount my MP9 here. You know, if I'm switching from my primary to my secondary, I'm out of mags, whatever it is, I can just take this, put it here, and then I can draw my secondary and go to it. Doesn't need to be in place solidly or permanently like I'd want my pistol to be, but something which is quick and fast and I can just get hold of it. Now I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I did find on Thingiverse a 3D print file which was free, and I'll put a link down to it below. I've actually started reprinting some of this stuff just because the tolerances I want higher. So I'm doing more infill, which basically means the section inside, it was pretty hollow. It was 15% of the space was filled with polymer, or sorry, with filament. And now I've kind of said to it, I want to do 80%. But basically the idea of this is you have a Molle clip. So that's going to go into that front piece. I'm then going to have this insert, which will sit inside there with a hook on it. And then basically these are going to secure in place with rods, and we're going to build this in a second. And then basically, I say basically a lot, I realized that in the last video, so excuse me for that. This is going to sit on that Picatinny rail, and this little hook should, in theory, and I'm not sure how well this is going to work, sit in place and allow me to just hook that thing on the front. Now I'm going to try it. We'll work out if it's actually going to do anything. I've got a feeling we could just break it during this. So if that happens, I apologize, but I thought I'd take you guys along for the ride, and see if I can kind of work out what we're doing. So I printed this clip. I printed it all together. Print time was probably about 3.5 hours, maybe. These are the 3 rods that it prints with. I'm reprinting these just with more filament infill, but basically the guy who designed it said he kind of created something which was a bit fun, wasn't really doing something serious. So I've got a feeling, as I said, I don't think this is necessarily going to work, but these are fitting well in here. I want to make sure that that is facing upright when this is hooked in. I did actually, the reason I reprinted it is, you can see here, this was one of these clips, and right here you can see that's that 15% infill. So you can see there, it's kind of like a not great kind of infill. I'll do my little video so you guys can see what's going on here. But basically, yeah, this was actually some of the supports it printed with as well. And I need to get those out. It was pretty difficult. That's how I broke it. I was trying to stick a knife in between here to clean those little supports out, which it printed with. And then I basically snapped it. So I'm reprinting this. So we may end up putting this on and then being oh wait, I need to actually just make sure this is, I need to take all the parts out and then redo it, which I'm praying that we don't just do that as I'm putting it together. Okay, that was pretty tight, but that's gone in nicely. And then finally this third one, it's kind of good that you don't need screws for this. You do need screws for another part, but that now is what we're looking like. So I'm hoping that we can now install this on here. I probably want it as high as possible. I didn't pay for this. This was actually a free file. I think I'm going to want it in the center. I'm trying to think here now. Or do I want it over to the left as far as possible? If I'm here with this, I can either try and center it like there, or I can try and have it over to the left. Let's go with center and we'll see how that works out. Well, let's go with center. Okay, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to now try and thread this through these laser cut Molle little inlets here without snapping it, which is going to be the big thing. And the good thing as well, though, is, as I always say, as it's 3D printed, it means that technically, if I do break it, I can reprint it. And if I can't get it out, I can just snap it. I don't have to worry about wasting a ton of money, shipping something else. I kind of have that fast option. Okay, so now the gap in between these two central pieces is very tight. And I don't know if this is going to go in there. There are actually two versions that the guy created of this. So I'm wondering if they're like slightly different widths just in terms of the Molle. Because it's going in, it's just like keeps kind of falling out of place. That one's going in. Maybe if I force one of them in. I've got that right, haven't I? Yeah. If I force this guy in. Okay, so that one's in. And now this one, we'll try and do the same. Problem is it's kind of at an angle now. Oh, there we go. That sounded like I just broke it. I had that awful like sinking feeling for a second. Sorry, I'm not really showing you guys what I'm doing here. Feels like that should be going in, but it's not. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So that's now sitting in there. What I'm going to have to do is work out how far down we're going to allow this to stick out. And I think we're going to want it all the way down. I'm going to push this down to the bottom and see here. So that's going to sit there, which is kind of perfect, to be honest. It's high up. And my concern was going to be that it was going to be too low, because I need to be able to get this long bottom magazine in front of me. And that definitely could be tough to do. Okay, so again, I might just do one of them. I'll try and do one of them and then force the other one. I know how thin it is on that rail right now. The reinforced ones I'm reprinting at the moment. So I know that this is pretty thin just from my prior experience of snapping the other one. So I don't really want to force it too much. Okay, that's almost in there. That's in. Okay, so that now is in place on my Polarity. And that seems pretty solid. Okay, so now the only thing we have to do, I'll put this to one side. The only thing we have to do is basically install this. And again, I'm slightly worried just because I know that the infill on these parts is not that strong. We'll figure it out. And the other thing which I realized is I've only got lengths of bolts and nuts that are M3 in that size because I needed it that long. And as you can see here, like it's pretty tight. Sorry, wrong way. You can see there, it's like, it's very wobbly. And I think when it comes through here, it's going to support this on the Picatinny because it's going to kind of have that ridge from the screw, but it's not exactly going to be a big ridge at all. So we'll see how that plays. Okay, so I know how to do this because I just tried it before, but I need to get this onto here. And what I'm going to do actually is just remove this EOTech from the top. And I need to basically get it along, and I want it on the right side, but I'm going to have to slide this one. And as you can see here, Sorry, I'm trying to show you on this. As you can see here, if I go on the Sony, like it needs to come over this front peg sight. And I think you can slip it on over it. Yep, you can. And there it's kind of like in place. I probably am going to want it this as far back as I can get it, I'm thinking, because that's going to hold it and it's going to stop it from sliding, hopefully. And then I'm going to put this guy through here and we'll just end up sticking the EOTech. I had to take the EOTech off because I couldn't fold it over, and you can't access at the back there. There's no way of sliding on from the rear unless you remove the rear iron sights. So I kind of had to do it that way. I'm going to get this guy here. We're going to do a little bit of a screw. The annoying thing is this screw is set up on the back for a larger screw size. So I think it'll be like maybe an M4 or an M5 maybe would be what you're kind of needing or wanting. If you're kind of looking at this print and like, what do I need to get? But apart from that, that is the only thing. That doesn't look straight. That's the only thing I think that you're going to need. It's just a screw, basically, it's going to go in there. Now I'm just going to hold this in place. In fact, let me do a little kind of M-block style where I'll pull back slightly on it and then rotate it. Right, I'm just going to hold it with this. A little bit fidgety, this one. Just basically trying to support this bolt so that it's not turning, because normally if it was a larger bolt it wouldn't turn in that location because it would be locked in by the plastic sides. But as of right now it is. Push it in on it. Sorry if you can hear background music. My wife's actually doing a shoot at the moment for her company in our garden. Okay, that seems to be working better. Okay, so there's still some movement there, and I think that's because of the size of that bolt that's going through there. Seems like that's fairly tight. But there is movement. I don't know if that's going to matter that much though, to be honest, because it is like I'm going to hook it and the weight's going to push it one way. It's not like it's going to slide. And again, I don't want to over tighten this and break it. So we'll go with that and we'll see how that is. So that's now what this little hook is looking like. My kind of slight worry is that it's not actually going to have the space here to hook. You see what I mean? It's kind of like, okay, it just about hooks there. If it actually is, weirdly, it's going to keep it at that angle, I think. But that is hooking. Let me just do a little desk view. It is hooking on. And so hopefully that will kind of keep it. It does feel pretty solid. So I think position-wise, this is going to make a difference on what it is. I'll put the EOTech just in front of it. And again, that could affect it. So I might need to go further forward with that EOTech. If you look there, it's going to kind of get in the way. Let's test it again. Yeah, that needs to go forward. And I don't know if I like riding my EOTech that far forward. So what might make sense is to try and find something to stick that out a bit further. I think that should be fine. And that will work. So with that, guys, let's try it on. Let's see if we can work out what is if it's gonna actually work and if it's gonna do what it's supposed to do. I'm gonna put this guy on. This is basically my plan. Sorry, my plan for this is to build this out as my lightweight carrier. So if you can see here, I've actually mounted my Unobtainium gear like chest placard on there for my MPX K mags, but it will take this guy here. It's actually going to stick onto that magnet. So it is going to take these, I believe. So we can just, let me just do that. Yeah, so that's going to take those fine. So if I can use that, that is one thing. So that is going to slightly get in the way there of that middle mag. I think it won't be too bad because if I'm pulling it, then it's not bad. Re-indexing it shouldn't be too bad, but it's something to think about. And what we're going to do now is the moment of truth, where that's going to sit there. And actually, it works really well. If you look at that, guys. So let me just test it. If I'm using it, I can just stick it right here. And actually, that balances out even with the stock. I don't think the hardiness of this is going to be great. So it's going to depend on what polymer you're using to a point, but it's holding right now. And then I've got this here, and then I can just go to my secondary. So I'm pretty happy, guys. Let me just actually check one more thing. That wasn't as easy to get out. Let me check if I've got mags on here. How easy is it going to be to get it on with that? Okay, so it's hinging on the mag right there, but it actually is working. And it's in place solidly enough where I can quick detach it, but it's held on nice. So guys, that is little hack that I think I found. And actually I'm going to run this and I'll do some drills. I'll do a short just of me using it, training with it, and just seeing if I can. The problem that could happen, obviously, is that this could end up just snapping off here, and then I'm dropping my replica, which I spent a lot of money on. You've got a sight on there, etc., and then you're ending up breaking or doing some damage to it. So I'm going to run that risk slightly, but I'm probably going to find a better screw for this. I'll probably just upgrade the parts, make sure I print everything with 100% infill. But I'm actually really surprised at how that's held up. So guys, thank you so much for being here. As I said, the link down below to the 3D print file, it's free. If you're one of the members, then it might be something you want me to print for you in the future. As I said, it took about like 3.5 hours to do it on the printer, so it wasn't too bad at all. But that is me for the day. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day wherever you are, and I will speak to you all very soon.